What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to This Week in Esports and Gaming, the show where we talk about the latest and greatest in business happenings in esports, gaming, and creators. I'm your host, Mark 𝗠𝗿, here for the second week of March 2023. Let's dive right into it. For our first top 3 story, I just want to highlight women's esports rosters. It was International Women's Day earlier this week, and this month is Women's History Month, so I want to highlight some of the esports roster signings featuring women that happened this past week. FaZe Clan, they signed an all-female Valorant roster that will compete in the VCT Game Changers series. The roster will feature players Madison Maddie Mann, Jennifer Refine J. Lee, Emma Emmy Cho, and Diane D. Tran as well. Guild Esports signed an all-female CSGO team featuring Kaya Kiki Holman, Marita Mini Sorensen, Thea Pollux Evanson, Linnea Nea Clayson, and Ann for Larry Novica. They will be competing in the ESL Impact Circuit featuring a $500,000 prize pool. G2 Esports have signed an all-female CSGO team called 𝗠𝗿𝗑 featuring Juliano Kirin, Zainab Zaz Turkey, Anastasia Crazy Koloistina, Alexandra Manka Crespi, and Alexandra Kiosa Chiangsa. Global Esports have signed an all-female Valorant roster featuring players Saloni Meow16k Pawar, Akanksha Muffinloop Sukramani, Sierra Rose Tabassum, Jagrudi Haife Moholkar, Abisha Baila Joseph, and Kirti Kiri Mirani. They will compete in VCT Game Changers like FaZe's roster. I really do apologize if I butchered all those names. I'm not the best at pronouncing non-American names, I would say, but I hope these rosters can stay along for a while and that they compete in larger tournaments and against a lot of good opponents as well. So congrats to all these orgs and ladies for these signings. YouTube is easing up the profanity policy. Honestly, this is pretty big news since it was made fun of by a ton of creators when they announced this back earlier. So here are the changes. Moderate profanity at any time in the video will be fully monetizable. Stronger profanity like saying fuck in the first 7 seconds or repeatedly will receive limited ads instead of no ads. If you use moderate or strong profanity after the first 7 seconds, you will be good for the full video of full ads, so long as you don't do it repeatedly throughout the video. And profanity in background music is also monetizable. Again, the thing that stays the same is that there's no profanity allowed in the title or the thumbnail. So this may not seem big. This is actually pretty big for a lot of creators on the platform, gaming or otherwise. This comes after the new CEO, Neil Mohan, takes over Susan Wojcicki's role as the CEO. And this is most likely a play to increase revenue, in my opinion. But this also, is going to make creators happy because his job is also, I would assume, probably a little bit revolving around creators being satisfied on the platform. This is particularly notable in gaming since I think a lot of good content has a lot of curse words in it. Which means creators will not have to 100% rely on sponsorships for content revenue again. And once again, this is a perfect segue into the final top 3 story on creators. For the final top 3 story, we're just going to talk about some recent happenings with creators in esports and gaming. So the first one I want to mention is Carl Jacobs and Austin Show joining Misfits Gaming Group. Carl is now an owner and creative director, while Austin will be a content creator and executive producer. While the amount of Carl's ownership wasn't disclosed, I would safely assume it's a pretty small minority shareholder amount. That being said, this is a smarter play for orgs to start involving creators more with their business directly, as it incentivizes creators to adopt the org as part of their brand more than just sponsored ad reads from the esports org. I mentioned this earlier in a LinkedIn post, but I think think about Pokemon and RTS, Courage and Valkyrie with 100 Thieves, all of OTK and Ninja and Tim the Tatman with Complexity. They aren't just pulling logos on their videos or streams. And in Carl's and Austin's case, they're actually going to jointly develop a new IP for Misfits, which is really cool. The second one I want to talk about was actually made known to me by Jordan Fragan of VentureBeat. So thank you, Jordan. If you aren't aware, Michael Bell, also known as Bellular Online, has created a ton of Warcraft content as well as content on the general gaming industry space on YouTube over the past 12 years. His channels Bellular News and Bellular Warcraft, among others, have amassed nearly 1 million subscribers, and he started Bellular Studios and made The Pale Beyond, which launched in February of this year. It's an exploration game that has very positive reviews online so far, and in Jordan's interview with Michael, he talks about how the experienced content creation team at the company has helped make marketing a lot easier, kind of similar to what Donkey's doing with Big Mode Games. These are 2 very different examples of creators doing things in esports and gaming, right? Carl and Austin with Misfits, as well as Bellular with his studio, but it still shows the power of creators. I really think the future is super creator based. When creators get washed up or retire, they won't actually be fully gone. They'll just be more behind the scenes doing business things like making studios or starting businesses like they are now. As far as partnerships go, HyperX partnered with Riot Games. HyperX will remain the official supplier of keyboards, mice, and mouse pads for the Valorant Champions Tour, which includes VCT Masters, VCT Champions, and Valorant Game Changers Championship. TSM partnered with Avalanche. TSM's Blitz platform will use Core, which is Avalanche's payment system, to power all their user payments. TSM will also get its own subnet on the Avalanche blockchain, which allows them to customize the blockchain to facilitate their own needs. Complexity Gaming partnered with the sports social media platform Playmaker. Complexity will collaborate on a variety of content and engage with Playmaker's development with athletes and gaming influencers. This will be a multi-year licensing agreement with Complexity providing its content, studio, creative assets, gaming equipment, and roster of players to Playmaker as well. Challenger Mode has partnered with Blast and Ubisoft for the upcoming R6 majors taking place in May and November. The platform will host the qualifying stage for both tournaments and will allow players from all regions to compete. For reference, the May major will take place in Denmark and the November major will take place in the United States. Greyhound Gaming partnered with Rivalry. The two organizations will collaborate on a variety of joint content, focusing on the org CSGO team, with the logo also appearing on Greyhound Gaming's jerseys as well as brand across social media. Dignitas partnered with Next Level. Next Level will be a partnership consultant as well as sales agency of record for Dignitas' parent company, New Meta Entertainment, and the companies will lead business development and for Dignitas' teams and creators as well. As far as finance and M&A goes, Matchday have raised a $21 million seed round. The round saw participation from Playtime, which is a VC firm that Lionel Messi co-founded. Matchday plans to use this to draw more soccer fans into gaming, working with FIFA licensed titles in the casual gaming genre. They're also bullish on mobile and Web3 games, aiming to make it more accessible for gamers. Joaquim Achterhall has become a minority shareholder at Frame.gl. Joaquim is a famous Dota legend that goes by Aki in-game, and he was part of the Alliance roster that won the International in 2013 and was working as a software engineer after his pro player career. For reference, Frame is a gaming and esports comms agency from Sweden, and they've worked with folks like PGL as well as Coca-Cola, Activision Blizzard, Asus, and more in the past. Believer have raised a $55 million Series A. This was created by former Riot Games VP Michael Chow, and Believer raised its Series A led by Lightspeed Ventures partners. The round will be used towards creating a larger team and creating an open world game using original IP, and Believer Chief Product Officer Steven Snow was also the executive producer on League of Legends, so they have a lot of great talent on their team. Excited to see where Believer goes. GameSquare Esports and Engine Gaming and Media are going to merge. They have approved the new business combination in an all-stock deal that was officially announced in December, and with this new deal, GameSquare shareholders will own around 60% of the new company, with Engine shareholders owning about 40% of the company. There will be some executive switches on both sides, but both will continue to use the ticker symbol GAME and will operate under the GameSquare brand. Emerge Group have raised a $2.2 million seed round. The round was led by Farquhar Venture Capital and Arcane Group, with participation from Blockcrafter Capital and other angel investors. Additionally, this section of the company is rebranding to Emerge Esports to differentiate the group's plans from the other various business units. As far as workforce changes go, Chris Kisek joins 10.gg as a business development manager. Chris will be focusing on raising 10.gg's awareness in the esports and video game space as a platform for working with service providers, stakeholders, brands, and individuals. Chris was previously working in esports initiatives with the Isle of Man in Malta, and he holds a degree in IT from the Isle of Man College. And Marco, Brandy House, Rhyming Poon, Mark Sabotnik, and Jennifer Jolly joined Probably Monsters as the VP of Marketing, the GM, Head of Communications, VP of Partner Alliances, and General Counsel respectively, and previously spent 15 years at Warner Bros. Interactive Entertainment, most recently as the VP of Digital Platforms or Digital Storefronts. She also spent 5 years doing marketing at Activision, and she holds a bachelor's in business from University of Minnesota. Brandy was the Senior Director of Product Management for R&D at Unity from 2017 to 2022. She also spent around a year at Oculus as a Technical Program Manager, and she holds a master's in Electrical Engineering from University of Washington. Rhyming is an experienced PR and communications professional, holding executive roles in comms and PR at Exola, Jam City, Gamefly, Activision, and Machinima. She holds a bachelor's in journalism and PR from USC. Mark spent the last 15 years at Intel, most recently as the senior director for desktop gaming and creator businesses. He also was a dev account manager at Microsoft from 2001 to 2007. He holds a degree in psychology from City College of San Francisco. And Jennifer is a seasoned lawyer, having spent many years in intellectual property law. She was most recently an associate general counsel at Aristocrat Digital, which focuses a lot on gambling and casino games, and holds a bachelor's from my alma mater, Arizona State University, and a JD from the University of Washington School of Law. Felix Jorge and John Burns joins Arctic 7, both as CCOs, Chief Communications Officer and Chief Commercial Officer. Felix was the founder and CEO of Narwhal Studios and has lots of experience in the film and TV space. He worked on Ant-Man and the Wasp as well as the Black Adam, and he holds a bachelor's in computer science from Full Sail University. John was formerly the SVP of Publishing at Jagex and has lots of executive roles in publishing and business services at other gaming companies. He launched EA's mobile division when he was there from 2004 to 2010, and he holds a high school degree in English, Science, and Economics from Trinity College. Kai Browning has been laid off at Gameplan. Kai's a good guy, and I typically don't cover individual layoffs, but I want to help him out here. He was previously the customer success director at Gameplan for over a year and was also director of esports at US Sports Camps, integrating esports into sports camps for kids. He also spent time at Ult Esports in the past, and he holds a bachelor's in business from Utah Valley University. Show some support to Kai if you can. As far as new stuff goes, Esports Illustrated have officially launched. It's a joint venture between Godhammer Gaming Group, Sports Illustrated, and its parent company, the Arena Group. The staff have been collecting content for a few months prior to this public launch, and they aim to create snackable, easily accessible content focusing on Call of Duty, Valorant, Apex Legends, and League of Legends to start. Epic Games have rolled out a self-publishing tool. It will allow devs to publish their own titles via dev accounts on Epic Games, and devs have to pay a $100 submission fee per game, and then they can bail out a coming soon page, as well as game offers, ratings, reviews, and more, and developers have the ability to keep 88% of their revenue. The Washington Post created its first in-house game after recent layoffs. It seems Washington Post is focusing more on subscriber retention with this new game. Their game, titled On the Record, is a Sporkle-esque news quiz game that tests readers' knowledge of the week's top stories. While this isn't, the first news quiz game, it's probably something I should be doing, honestly. Supercell are going to be bringing Clash Royale to web. The online store where this will be listed will allow players to make game purchases directly through the web store rather than in-app. Seemingly, this is Supercell's way of bypassing the fees charged by Google and Apple for mobile app purchases on their app stores. Gamers 8 have announced a $45 million esports prize pool. This is a 3 times increase from their $15 million prize pool last year, which makes it the largest esports prize pool if you don't split it up by game. That being said, it will be taking place in Saudi Arabia later this year, with games such as Dota 2, Fortnite, Rocket League, R6, and PUBG Mobile all taking place there. Gameloft are going to shut down their Budapest studio and shift away from mobile. Founded in 2012, the studio focuses on free-to-play mobile games, and is something that Gameloft has always been focused on. That being said, Gameloft's attention is going to focus more on PC and console given the current market in mobile. I'm just sad since Gameloft's games were my first true start into the gaming and content creation space, so thank you Gameloft Mobile for a lot that you've done. Stream Hatchet have launched Starter. This new service is a free live streaming data analytics tool available to the public. Their blog post says it's perfect for journalists, small marketing agencies, brands, or indie publishers, and shout out to Amanda and the team for their work on this tool. That's it for this week in esports and gaming. Thank you so much for tuning in. Credit to the authors and brands themselves for the images and information provided. If you want to show some support to James Fudge and the Esports Advocate, please go check it out down below in the comments. And as always, everybody, if you know someone who would find this valuable, please tag them down below in the comments or share. And as always, have a great day.